reading passage 3. Reading passage 3. You should spend about 20 minutes on questions 28 to 40, which are based on reading passage 3 below. Measuring organizational performance. There is clear-cut evidence that for a period of at least 1 year, supervision which increases the direct pressure for productivity can achieve significant increases in production. However, such short-term increases are obtained only at a substantial and serious cost to the organization. To what extent can a manager make an impressive earnings record over a short period of 1 to 3 years by exploiting the company's investment in the human organization in his plant or division? To what extent will the quality of his organization suffer if he does so? The following is a description of an important study conducted by the Institute for Social Research designed to answer these questions. The study covered 500 clerical employees in 4 parallel divisions. Each division was organized in exactly the same way, used the same technology, did exactly the same kind of work, and had employees of comparable aptitudes. Productivity in all 4 of the divisions and dependent on the number of clerks involved. The work entailed the processing of accounts and generating of invoices. Although the volume of work was considerable, the nature of the business was such that it could only be processed as it came along. Consequently, the only way in which productivity could be increased was to change the size of the work group. The 4 divisions were assigned to 2 experimental programs on a random basis. Each program was assigned at random a division that had been historically high in productivity and a division that had been below average in productivity. No attempt was made to place a division in the program that would best fit its habitual methods of supervision used by the manager, assistant managers, supervisors, and assistant supervisors. The experiment at the clerical level lasted for 1 year. Beforehand, several months were devoted to planning, and there was also a training period of approximately 6 months. Productivity was measured continuously and computed weekly throughout the year. The attitudes of employees and supervisory staff towards their work was measured just before and after the period. Turning now to the heart of this study, in 2 divisions, an attempt was made to change the supervision so that the decision levels were pushed down and detailed supervision of the workers reduced. More general supervision of the clerks and their supervisors was introduced. In addition, the managers, assistant managers, supervisors, and assistant supervisors of these 2 divisions were trained in group methods of leadership, which they endeavored to use as much as their skill would permit during the experimental year. For easy reference, the experimental changes in these two divisions will be labeled the participative program. In the other two divisions, by contrast, the program called for modifying the supervision and so as to increase the closeness of supervision and move the decision levels upwards. This will be labeled the hierarchically controlled program. These changes were accomplished by by a further extension of the scientific management approach. For example, one of the major changes made was to have the jobs limited and to have standard times computed. This showed that these divisions were overstaffed by about 30%. The general manager then ordered the managers of these two divisions to cut off by 25%. This was done by transfers without replacing the persons left. No one was to be dismissed. Results of the experiment, changes in productivity. Figure 1 shows the changes in salary costs per unit of work, which reflect the changes in productivity that occurred in the division. As will be observed, the hierarchically controlled programs increased productivity by about 25%. This was a result of the direct orders from the general manager or to reduce staff by that amount. Direct pressure produced a substantial increase in production. A significant increase in productivity of 20% was also achieved in the participative program, but this was not as great as in the hierarchically controlled program. To bring about the improvement, the clerks themselves participated in the division and to reduce the size of the work group. They were aware of course, that productivity increases were sought by management in accounting these experiments. Obviously, deciding to reduce the size of a work group by eliminating some of its members is probably one of the most difficult decisions for a work group to make. Yet, the clerks of the two divisions in the hierarchically controlled program, the other participative division, which historically had been the poorest of all the divisions, did not so well and increased productivity by only 15%. Changes in attitudes. Although both programs had similar effects on productivity, they had significantly different results in other results. The productivity increases in the hierarchically controlled program were accompanied by shifts in an adverse direction in such factors as loyalty, attitudes, interest, and involvement in the work. But just opposite was true in the participative program. For example, figure 2 shows that when more general supervision and increased participation were provided, the employees' feeling of responsibility to see that the work got done increased. Again, when the supervisor was away, they kept on working. In the hierarchically controlled program, however, the feeling of responsibility decreased. And when the supervisor was absent, work tended to stop. Our figure, as figure 3 shows, the employees in the participative program at the end of the year felt that their manager and assistant manager were closer to them and then at the beginning of the year. The opposite was true in the hierarchical program. Moreover, as the figure 4 shows, employees in the participative program felt that their supervisors were more hierarchically controlled the program. The opposite trend occurred. Well, uh, there is one thing they say when the examiner decides that no one should get through the examination, he makes a paper like this. He makes a paper that the students can hardly understand and get through the test or exam. This passage is one of that kind of example, which will be not easy for the students to understand and to attempt the tasks given after this passage easily. So far as English speaking skill is concerned, I believe that I can speak even to the Prime Minister of England, and I can talk to them, and I can convey if I spend a few those weeks with the English people anywhere in any part of the English society. English speaking will not be a problem, and I will be able to go to the market, adjust myself in the class, and understand, begin to understand the lectures given at the university. But it's very funny and to go through this type of see passages to judge a person, his or her ability of speaking English, language test. Uh, that seems to be more than a language test. It is a scheme in which you see students are put into trouble deliberately. This type of paragraphs, which has all complications. First of all, you see the presentation, that you will have to read this unusual length of paragraphs deliberately made in such way. I don't say that the word limits is, there should be at least 100 words in a paragraph. So that doesn't come up to be that good type of paragraphs. I should say form wise. So this is a failing format for a test. The other thing is that you see the font is too small. I see there are people. No, I know that the students have very sharp eyes, but may not have a very sharp brain as well. So you can see the type has been fairly, here you see this has been shown as a very bigger one. And this type of see font is too small, I think. If they really mean to test the language, at least they should make the font between 11 to 14, but this is too small. You can say that I can enlarge it, but in the book it is given from the look, you can say, in 3 lines when the paragraph, as you can see how the words have been compacted: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. More than 20 words are in one line. Very strange. There should not be this much. In one line, the maximum limit should be 15 words, not more than that. But 10 is the ideal, and 10 to 15 words is the here you can see more than 20. So this is a trick that the student should have bear the extra burden. Why this type of bad books will be in the text that the students will have to read? Very, very funny. Anyway, next, you see the other difficulties are unfamiliar topics. I think it's about business management in a factory. I think many of us are not related to staff management at any of the industry. Those who have the opportunity of working and they are in line this type of business, maybe they can easily pick the words, but many may not. For example, a doctor, an engineer, and they may not, you see, be easy and convenient to grasp the meaning from this type of, see, passage that is given. Here you see these are two lines, no sequence in the paragraphs. Here you see the longer sentences, the longer paragraphs, and this one you can say maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's about 130 you see, words in this paragraph. Ideal paragraph is between 75 to 100 words. So that is the good length. And you see, again, this again, you see they have also added to some figures, unintelligible. It needs some time to understand because no, they could easily give description of the each graph underneath it, what it is representing, and what it is. And they have given the detail in the passage. Mostly, usually, we have like a salary cost per percent of base periods. So, little detail about this stuff. What does this mean? And how is this bigger, smaller, before, after, more cooperating? So, what do they represent? Okay, so nothing, one thing is mentioned here. You see, nothing is all blank. So this type of, you see, more difficulties, they say figure one, figure two, it's mentioned, it's a shaking hands. So again, you see, you can see totally they go blank. So we need to be here. So least the what it should see help is offered here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 160 words you can find in this paragraph. So that is not the an ideal format of passage that is given to the format is not, you see, cannot be appreciated because they have not facilitated the candidate in the test. Rather, they have created all type of difficulties for the candidate so that he should not get the high score, or you see, great band, as you see on the scale of 0 to 9. And other things, you see, the scale is measured from it. Actually, this is kept as one digit scale, 0 to 9. And mostly when a person gets a 7, band 7, so he considers himself that instinctively, and a sense he is passed to the student that his performance is almost 70%. So it is not 70%, is it 7 means, band 7 means 80% accuracy. So I think it is because 0 has been counted as 10%. Okay, if your score is 0, that means your efficiency possibly can be 0 to 10%, and if it is 10%, your band is 0. So in this way, very cleverly, the scale has been designed, and it will create difficulty for the candidates. So it is not just a test of English language. It is more than an IQ test, you can say, and deliberate hindrances have been created for the students to um, so that he should come up to the examination and get a sense of inferiority and pay into the university. And anyway, this is worldwide, and I think they should be honest enough and they should give courage unto the people so that they should come to education. And believe me, there are people who are gold, but they don't have the opportunity to shine. It is up to these institutions so that they should hunt the talent. And I remember the story of British Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister Churchill. That was kind of name, of a full name I have forgotten. So his was the great teacher who, you see, discovered the hidden abilities of. So the institutions, like educational institutions, they should also demonstrate that kind of sympathies with the students. And they should not, you see, I think many people like me, they can speak English, but they are you see, driven into this type of test in which they are discouraged and they are not encouraged. They will be given, you see, band 6, 7, and the demand will be 7.5, and the whole career of a person will go to ground. So my humble request into the IELTS organization is that they should at least facilitate the students in every possible way so that one can demonstrate his language skill, speaking skill, understanding skill, communication skill. People are not that bad as they are judged in the test. Hope a sympathetic review of the IELTS organization, that's perhaps Cambridge as it is mentioned on the book. And at the same time, I wish the best to the students and my what I should say was suggestion to the students so that first of all they should bear this in mind that this is a test of English language more than an English language test. It is a created hurdle and they have to clear it. And for that, they need sufficient practice, sufficient guidance, and they also need to learn the tricks. There are some certain tricks which will definitely help you. And on your own, you will discover it later. I wonder that why people have just failed to understand that this is an examination of clearing hurdles rather than as it is claimed to be English language testing system. It is more than that. It is a kind of the multi-dimensional test, you know. IQ is involved here in it, and you see at the same time, old hurdles, deliberate hurdles are created for a student to steer clear. Anyway, you will have to go one by link on your bike. It is the same. Then you'll have to run a race at the race, run a cycling race. You can see you will have to go on your bicycle, paddling to 100 kilometers per hour. And also you will have to show some stunts, okay, like one wheeling, and there will be things will be thrown on your way, and you'll have to steer clear them. Then that is your what I should say success. And if you don't fall, anyway, dear students, it is and the real nature of the test. I'm not against the organization that is what I should say and designing test, okay, and these are expensive tests, and it is benefiting some countries, and their degree is valued. Actually their degree is the recommendation letter, and for that recommendation letters the people try to pay to get success and to go to the next level of success. Anyway, I wish a sympathetic review of the whole test, and it should be designed so that only the good people, still, you see, if they simplify it, if they stick to the language, okay, still there will be many will fail, and you see, uh, what I should, and they know, the organization knows how to do this because the first paragraphs are not that difficult, okay, and the paragraphs may not be very difficult, and as uh, the you progress, you come to the paragraph 2, passage 2, passage 3, the difficulty level increases as it is claimed in the beginning. Okay, what's the need of increasing difficulty level for the students? Why not do you see increasing the facility level to the students? so that they should easily get. Well, you can communicate, you can ask a student to speak on his favorite topic if you really need to test the language of a student. And you can communicate in simple words, because normal text that we read in the book. What's the need if you speak the language of Shakespeare? I think many will fail. So anyway, I know this my voice is a cry in the wilderness, and no one it will come to no effect. But anyway, what I felt, I expressed here. Wish you best of luck, and if I could help you, you can come and have online classes. This is a pretty difficult task, and you need seriously some tactics to prepare for the test. Okay, dear, thank you for watching. Stay blessed.